Good morning. It is Wednesday. That's right. We're halfway through another week. And what could we want more? On it, you know what I am rocking today? I am actually rocking the lockdown hairstyle. And it's well, I always look fabulous, but I don't really know what's going on. Yeah. How are we? Say good morning to me. It is me, Cam with a K from Kwak TV, because why watch Kwak TV? Well, you can watch Kwak TV. And before I bring on today's guest, which once again, I cannot wait for, I get so excited for these because why would I have anyone boring on this show? That's the only way I can put it. Why would I have anyone boring? And the stories we've just been talking about are definitely not boring. So yes, I cannot wait for today's guest. But if you are watching, make sure you jump in the comments and say hello, good morning to me. And if you are watching this on replay, remember to put hashtag replay. So yes, it is Wednesday. How are we feeling today? I'm halfway through another week, and I am feeling it. You know, the fire is burning. I am ready for this. Mr. Stephen Harrison, who is on the show tomorrow. Good morning, and he will be rocking the lockdown hair too. That's what I am wanting, kind sir. But yes, sir, it is absolutely awesome. The fact that we are, is it me or has January flew by this year? Like last year, I felt like it went on forever. Like January in itself felt like a year. And then now it's just flown through. It's just absolutely flown by. And it's great. I absolutely love it. Oh, good morning, Nicole Clark as well. I don't know what pitch my voice went into then. It sounded like a fucking parakeet. Good morning, Nicole. So yes, I am excited and I digress. I go on tangents. So as we do, as we do on the show, I like to help you all out a little bit in my mind. Maybe it does help you out. I don't know, but I'll still do it. So I do like to go through different events, which is the different days of the year. And the reason to do the different days of the year is because every day of the year has a different event or theme or something. And it's a really good idea for you to pop on your social media if you are stuck for that day or is extra content for you. I also will be going through some Twitter hashtags like I do every day as well, which you can utilize across Instagram, Facebook, and everything else because you've got to use them, people. You've got to use them. You need that reach. Yes, Nicole, last week went slow, and this week is speeding by. It is. It really is. So, today, your days of the year. It is Disc Jockey Day. Disc Jockey Day, yep. Whack out them vinyls, people. Get playing. It's Disc Jockey Day. That's not for me. This one's more for me. Cheese Lovers Day. Today is for cheese lovers. And, I can't beat a good block of cheese, my love. I really cannot beat a big block of cheese. No pun intended. No pun intended. Get your mind out the gutter. It is also Butter Crunch Day, and it is also Penguin Awareness Day. That is awesome. I love penguins. I absolutely love penguins. So yes, it's Penguin Awareness Day as well. So make sure that you use one of these on your social media, which is Disc Jockey Day, Cheese Lovers Day, Butter Crunch Day, and Penguin Awareness Day. And I've got to say, the website that I look on these is literally called Days of the Year. I'm sorry, I just saw what else other days are coming this week, and it's very fascinating. So yes, Cheese Lovers Day. Who likes cheese? I like cheese. Let me know what type of cheese you like. I want to, I'm very vanilla when it comes to cheese. I don't really explore much. I'm very Wensleydale or cranberries or Wensleydale or ginger. I'm very, very basic. But let's be honest, you can't beat a good cheese and wine night. And when I can meet my friends again, I can't wait. And you know what? I don't even like red wine or port or anything, but I'll drink it if I need to go with cheese. I do not mind. It's I just want to see friends. So your hashtags for today are as follows. It is hashtag Wednesday Thought with over 20,000 tweets on Twitter this morning already. It is hashtag Wednesday Motivation with over 15,500 tweets. Yeah, that's the word. It is also FFB Wednesday, which stands for Follow Back Wednesday, which started by a lovely teacher in the UK. And I think that might be it because everything else is talking about the news and politics. And I don't like talking about news and politics. I find it really, really boring. Don't know about the rest of you. See, Nicole, sorry, digress, people. Tangents. Lactose intolerant. I'm lactose intolerant too. Still eat cheese. Why not? You only live once. Pop a couple of Buscopan or Imodium, you found. You know what I mean? Just that's the road I'm going down this morning. Jesus Christ. Yes, just pop a couple of Imodium. Stops you shitting yourself. Just throw that out there. God. But yes, so those are your days of the year and your hashtags for today, which I am honestly, I love doing them. because for me, it even gives me a bit of inspiration what to do out there. And I don't look the day before. I look in the morning before I do this show at what days of the year it is. That's where I get my inspiration from if it comes to it. If I'm stuck that day, because we all get stuck, social media can be so daunting, but it doesn't have to be. It really doesn't have to be. So before I bring on today's guest, this guest has had a hashtag created for them, which, you know, is going to give it away, but the hashtag is Be More Sas. And I'm going to make a tell a tale today. She was just telling beforehand that, you know, when you sometimes want to subtly start a video about someone knowing. I was really subtly wanting to like press go live, but I was like, nah, she's going to kill me. But this story is genuinely hashtag Be More Sas. And anyone watching also that knows Sas knows exactly what I'm on about. This woman is an absolute trooper and has a lovely wife and daughter Elizabeth. And when you hear the accent, you'll understand why they've gone with a posh name like Elizabeth, because let's be honest, this person is very posh. Very, very posh indeed. You know, like I played rounders, they played croquet. They're just like that, like, piss off, Callum, piss off. But with no further ado, good morning, Sas. Don't know what that did. There we go.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's after our pre-show chat. You know, the magics of TV. You didn't know we had one, people. Yeah, you did. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well today. I've got my coffee. I'm sat here. It's a good day.
Yeah. We're there. So, Sas.
Yes.
Just in case people don't know who you are and what you do, who are you and what do you do?
That's a very good question. So my name is Sas Huntwood. I run two companies. One is a training company, sales and leadership company called Beyond Thought. And I'm the chief storyteller for The Storytellers, where we create and capture people's stories and create storybooks of their lives.
Yes, she does. And honestly, this lady can tell a tale. She can tell a tale. So, I don't know why I keep saying the word "so" this morning. It sounds very formal.
It's because you're talking to a posh person, that's why.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, I've got to look at the extended vocabulary here. It's not only my vocabulary involves a lot of ucks and offs. It's you know, I understand now people watch this when they've got children present. I'm trying to knock the swearing on the head a little bit. I'll try. So, see, this is I'm doing it. How was the start of the year for you? Obviously, we're getting towards the end of January. How has been the start of the year for you?
I would say it's been a very emotional roller coaster. And I'm quite a kind of a very laid back person, and don't tend to kind of highs and lows. It's kind of, and I think this January, although has had some amazing highs, has also been quite challenging as well. And I think that this last lockdown, particularly for my daughter, has been really quite challenging, not seeing her friends. So it's been tough, but there's been some great highs too. So I think, that's how I would describe it.
Yeah, and would you say that a lot of the highs are a spin-off from the remnants of 2020? Or would you say that, you know, you've just kind of come into the new year and gone, we're doing this and it's paying off already?
Yeah, I think so. I think we put a lot of groundwork in 2020, did a lot of work, a lot of groundwork, rebranding and launching. And we were saying earlier about making decisions and moving forward. So I do feel as though we're moving forward at a ridiculous pace. I don't think I've ever known, like business generally, to be moving at such a pace just to keep up. It's almost you having to run just to keep on the spot. So I do feel as though people are making decisions. Some people are a bit more cautious and pulling back. But I think other people are going, no, we're gonna forge ahead.
Yeah, and you know what? I can only imagine, a bit like myself, you've been able to dive into business because you've had none of these, I'm going to call them distractions, but they're not. You know, you're very sporty, you do lots of activities outdoors and things like that. And because we've not been able, I'm imagining competing in your world with other people, you know, and actually having matches and things with other people, you're very sporty. So do you think you've been able to dive into your business even more because you've not had that to do? You've had to distract yourself more with business.
Yeah, I would say so. And it's finding other ways in which you to distract yourself as well. So I've got a golf net in the garden. So that for me is my, you know, if I need to go and whack a few balls to get some kind of, you know, stress release, that's for me works. It's the same as going to hit a ball on the tennis court or something like that. But yeah, definitely, I think you do. And I think when you own your own business, as you know, you tend to, there's never a switch off. There's never a bit you go, oh, okay, now I'll put aside. You're always thinking, even when you're doing other things, you're thinking about other ideas. And because you're in four walls at the moment, I think those ideas tend to almost bounce off the walls. You're constantly in that environment.
Exactly. And, you know, it's like me and my partner have, from the new year, have started getting back into walks and just going for our daily walks, hour and a half long. And I said to him, I was like, you're doing how to switch off on a walk, right? And he was like, yeah. I was like, but what going on a walk does, it breaks the pattern of what you've just said. I'm not sat in the same four walls, and it just breaks that pattern for me. So to an extent, shall we say, I've kind of switched off, but I've kind of switched another switch on. And it's like, right now, our brain's kind of going into creative mode, and I'm thinking about the things that maybe ideas I've had, what can I do with them? And it was on a walk that I came up with my podcast idea that I'm going to be launching later in the year. I've been saying for the past 18 months I want a podcast, but I didn't get the right idea. It was just on this walk. The switch of my laptop and everything had gone off, and the switch of creativity came on. And that's where it came from. And, you know, I can imagine it's the same for you when you're smacking a few moles in the back garden.
Yeah, it does. I tend to find inspiration and creativity comes at the most kind of unusual times. People say to, you know, in a shower or something like that. And I definitely feel that, you know, it does come. It's just allowing yourself, I suppose, away from more of a structured environment to allow the creativity and ideas to come forward. And for me, it's about acting on that idea, because you have that idea. It's like when we launched the Storytellers last year, I'd had the idea for about 2 years, but I never thought it was the right time or it was the right conditions, or, you know, I've got the time to do it or push forward and make that decision. And it's about you actually driving forward with it, like your podcast, like launching your magazine, all those things. It's about, yes, I'm going to make a decision. I'm going to drive forward and go with it.
Exactly. And it's like Stephen was just saying here, you know, he's the same with his partner. Whenever they go on a walk, we just end up talking about business plans. And I know for Stephen, that's even better because I know him personally. And, you know, his partner actually works away and, you know, works in a different city and things within like the NHS. So I can imagine when they go on them walks, it's that, you know, it's their time as well to catch up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. I think
catching up on business, isn't it? It's catching up on business as well and being like, oh, this is going on about that idea. What do you think? And it's really, I find it quite healthy. You know, I'm like, yeah, I want to talk about this.
Yeah, I think it's important. It's like around the dinner table, we have a dinner at night, and then we talk about kind of our day and what we've been doing, even if we've been in the same house. And, you know, last night my daughter was asking my Nikki, my wife, about compound interest. So it was kind of, she'd obviously heard Nikki talking about it with a client or something. And so that was it. That was a whole discussion about compound interest. I learned something new too. So yeah, it's about prompting those conversations about different ways, you know, your life, and also brainstorming. So you're kind of talking to someone else about it and, you know, jumping ideas off them.
Wow, compound interest. Okay.
I know. Don't ask me.
That I've learned. Do you know what? I am going to get my mum on one of these, right? Because my mum's a very intellectual lady, and every now and then she mentions something. She goes, "Do you know what that means?" I go, "Yeah."
Then you pull your ear and you go, "She knows you know you don't know."
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, no, just kind of fidgeting in the corner, like, what have you said? Right, sir. The hash. I'm saying, sir, again. The I think it's how I round myself back from a tangent. It's the hashtag be more sass. You know, I know where that came from, because everyone needs to be a little bit more sass. And you are, whether you believe it or not yourself, you know, you are very inspirational in the fact of, you know, you're a very lovely person. You'll do anything for anyone, which is why I believe you're also very good at the job you do, which is, you know, telling people stories. You know, you take it very, very personal, and you'll love it. Let's be honest, right? In a nutshell, in the words of a Yorkshireman, you're just a nosy bastard, right? You just like hearing people's stories.
I am. Yeah, very nosy. I could listen to stories all day.
Well, so we're about to tell you on people, if you are watching and you was about to click off, don't click off, because Sas was telling me a story which she just subtly dropped in conversation about yesterday. She was doing a presentation, and she went, "Oh, one of my tips that I said was about when I saved a boy from drowning," and blah 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 blah. And she just skipped past it. I was like, "Whoa, you saved a boy from drowning? Like, what are you playing at? This is like the be more sass bit." So you don't have to do the full thing, Sass, but in a nutshell, how did you save this boy from drowning, right? So people understand why to be more sass.
Okay, so yeah, my top tip was about making decisions quickly, you know, in business and moving forward. At least a decision is a good decision. And I was on the beach. Mum stood on the side panicking. A young boy, about 9 years old, panicking. He was drowning because he couldn't get back round the groin from the sea. Big strong waves and currents. So I jumped in. As I said earlier, not a Baywatch moment. You know, when they run along the beach and there's, you know, my fat was wobbling and in a bikini, jumped in and I couldn't bring him back round because the currents were too strong. So I ended up using my body as a barrier against the rocks. And a guy had climbed down to the rocks as well to help. So I managed to lift him, get him back onto the rocks, although he was panicking, and lift him onto the rocks. And then I managed to swim back round. But I was saying to Callum earlier that the rocks are covered in barnacles. So I had scraped all down my back, all my back and arms and everything were bleeding from the scrapes on the barnacles. So I came out of the sea, again, non-Baywatch moment. And my mum arrived with a tissue and started dabbing. As mums always have tissues with them, started dabbing all these cuts and scrapes I had.
Honestly, like, first of all, well done for saving the boy's life. You know, it's like, well done. My dad's had to save mine once before, but it's. I'll briefly touch on it, but no, you know, the hashtag of Be More Sas. It really, really is, because that, to me, that really sums you up. And, you know, and I'll even touch on Friday in my Facebook group. I did a live video, which I do in my Facebook group, and it crashed. And I had another guest on, and the other guest ended up taking over the show because my computer just kind of kicked me out of it, which was awesome. But they were sat there like, are we still live? Stas is there in the comments, jumping in with questions, keeping the live going for me until I could get back in. Didn't even ask her, get back in, and then Vicky Head, who was the guest, went, yeah, it's fine. Sas sent me a question. Just started telling a story about it. Oh, no, I can't elaborate. That's private for the duck pond. So if you want to watch that live, make sure you join that hand.
Definitely.
Make sure you join me through, because it is a really good story, and it involves Ice Cube. It involves Ice Cube. So just
very good story.
Yeah, it's a really good story. So yeah, in a nutshell, I was on Benidorm. And my dad had a partner at the time. She had a son called Paul. I was in the sea, and my dad's always, you know, I'm a very good swimmer, very confident swimmer. My dad's always taught me in the sea, you know, don't turn your back on it, don't go too far out because, you know, you won't feel it and stuff. I come from a fisherman's family, so I've always kind of been educated on it. Mm-hmm. But then because I had Paul, I was distracted, and I was only probably 10 or 12. Like, I wasn't old, but I wasn't young. And then I realized that he was starting to pull my trunks, and it's because he couldn't touch the bottom anymore. And because of the current wouldn't let him keep his armbands up. No. So he was just like, and I went, like, what are you doing? I can remember, like, what are you doing? You're pulling my pants down. He's like, I can't touch the bottom. The thing is, right, my dad's a very confident swimmer. Very confident. And I just remember going, Dad! And he didn't even hesitate. Like you didn't, you know, this is that moment where you're like, do you need to sit there and judge it? He literally just went, got up, whoop, just dive straight. Oh, the beach person guard, lifeguard, he's trying to still get down his bloody steps. My dad's literally got up off his beach towel, just looked at me, judged the turn of voice, and then just gone, whoop, straight in. Wow. Grabs me by the scuff, tells Paul to keep hold of my pants, and just drags me out of the ocean. And then I went to, like, I asked him as an adult, I went, was it far out? I went, oh yeah, I was knackered. He said you was miles out. He said,
you do. The sea is quite tiring. You don't realise. I didn't realise till I'd come out. About 2 hours later, when I came off the high, the adrenaline obviously rushed, came out. I was knackered, and I was, for about a week, I was really bruised. And I didn't realise that I'd been battered quite as bad as I was. And the strength just to keep someone above the water while the waves are crashing over you. So I'm having to gulp some air whenever I can, because I'm trying to hold him out of the water because he's panicking as well. But you underestimate, without being able to touch the bottom, even so the strong current underneath really knocks you sideways.
It's not a solid ground as well, isn't it? So you're breaking against it because you can't stay up. But then all I remember is when we get back on the beach, you know, he's like, are you all right? Yeah. Then he goes, I told you not to go too far. And I'm like, we didn't mean to. Then he looked, the tide had gone out, and the tide had just took us with it. Yeah. And I just remember him taking his euros out of his pocket and putting them on top of the parasol to dry his nuts out. And he was like, you've drenched my money. I'm buying pints with this.
I have to say, there was a point when I was sat there in t-shirt, shorts, and you know, in that moment when I saw, I was like, he's struggling, and you could see the mum was starting to panic, and I was like, literally stripped off my t-shirt, and I had my bikini on underneath because it was in the summer, and I just threw Nikki my phone and keys, and just threw them. Like, off I go. But yeah,
What you just like, where are you going? Like,
no one had a clue. My Elizabeth, my daughter, and my nephew didn't even know, missed the whole thing. They were too busy having fun in the sea. But yeah, my everybody was like, "What's she doing? She's ready to." I was so eager to get into the sea.
Oh, love it. And this is why you're so good at your job, because it's storytellers. You know, if you don't tell a story, you'll probably end up pulling a story out of someone. And I can't remember the last time I said that, but I just really remember it. It's just the fact my dad, Anne did as well, actually. Anne dived in as well, and she helped us as my dad got us so far. She helped him pull us the rest, because he was knackered. You know, he hit the adrenaline high as well. Oh, this lifeguard just kind of went, oh, they're all right. Just went back up because my dad and Anne had pulled us out the ocean. Like,
it's about those decisions, and I think it's particularly if it's your son, you're gonna react in a certain way. I think because it wasn't my son or daughter, I probably wasn't emotionally attached. Not attached, but obviously I was going to say, so I wasn't panicking. But I think for me, yeah, absolutely, respect to the sea. You're right, and it's a respect. I think we were talking earlier about making those decisions, and at the moment, just you like launching a magazine, podcast, just making those decisions, go with them. Because you won't regret making the decision, you regret not making it.
Exactly. And that's what's going into the topic of today. And the topic of today is, it's talking about making them decisions. And, there's a lot of the time of making decisions, there's never a right time to do it. And by that we're meaning, Sas launched mainly hair business during lockdown, since COVID. And it's like, yeah, I'll launch a business during a global pandemic. Why not? Fuck it. See what happens. And it's blown up for you, hasn't it? It really has gone far for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I think I was waiting, which is unlike me. However, because I like to take risks and gamble, and not gamble, but take the risks in business and kind of go forward. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to wait. Is it the right time? First lockdown, global pandemic, everything's changed. And it kind of seemed it was a conversation with someone else saying, what are you waiting for? And I was like, I'm not waiting for anything. Yeah, we're not perfect. We haven't got the website looking perfect. We haven't got this. Well, that's okay. And just to launch it and see what happened, I think was the biggest thing. Because if you don't, if we hadn't done it then I'd still be sitting here going, we should have done it last year.
Exactly that. And do you know what? I'm the same for doing business coaching. So I only did it on the side as something that I was just really passionate about, really, really helping people. And I loved it. And the reason I couldn't really do it was I had a retail business, meaning I had to man the shop. I had to do everything like that there. And I had to. I could only do this on the side as and when. Then it came to, the C word, good old Rona. And I was like, this is my time to do it. And it's kind of like, what, you're about to not get a full-time job in a global pandemic and start a new business? Yeah, absolutely. It's I was just like, yeah, okay. And it is, as Brad Burton says, what does this make happen? What does this make possible mean? What does this make possible?
I think so. I think it's kind of when we launched our first business 8 years ago, it was like, what's the worst case scenario? What is the worst case scenario? Can we cope with that? Yes. Then okay, let's go ahead and do it. And it was a simple conversation like that. And the same with the story. So what's the worst that can happen? Can we cope with that? Yes. Okay, let's go for it. Let's see what happens with it by making that decision and moving forward. And I'm a true believer then, the universe then, as long as you are moving forward, then the universe will allow things to happen. If you're making decisions and moving forward, then opportunities do come.
Exactly. And to anyone that, is watching this either live or a replay or anything like that, it's make sure you, like Sas is saying, look at the worst case scenario. What's going to happen? Is it going to cause harm, death, or destitution? If it's not going to cause any of them three things, just fucking do it. Excuse the language, people. Just do it. And be more Sas. Just launch it, because there is never a right time. Thank you for dropping in my magazine. I'm launching a magazine, and I thought of this at Christmas, during the Christmas break between Christmas Day and New Year. And I went, yeah, I'm going to make my own business magazine. I'm going to launch at the end of January. And good old, man with floppy hair down in a house with number 10 on the front thought, I don't want you to do that, Callum. I'm just going to, put bars on everyone's windows. And it's like, okay, I'd rather you put a bar in my house. But, it's just kind of like, all right, okay, let's see what happens with this. And have I had a couple of twists and turns with launching it? Absolutely, because a couple of people had to hold off on going in the first issue. We weren't sure what's going on with the cash flow. They've gone, but we want to go in the second issue no matter what. It's just because it's the beginning of the year. And then I'm like, oh yeah, should I do it beginning of the year? Should I? And then with that, kind of look at it. It's going to cause physical harm. Is it going to cause death? Is it going to cause destitution? No. It's just going to take a little bit more work than what I first anticipated. That's it. It's just going to take a little bit more work. And it's like, oh, right. Yeah, I can do this.
There's more upside than downside, isn't there? And you look at it, and if you're an actually cautious person, you want to look at all the kind of the potential scenarios and the rest of it. You can then get into a bit of a cycle of procrastination and kind of almost that, like, you know, trying to get yourself out of that circle to make that decision to move forward can be really hard. But talking to someone about it, I think, is one of the biggest. We said earlier, the strongest thing is about talking to someone about it. And almost if someone says it's not possible or it won't work, to me, that's a red rag to a bull and go, I'll make it work. You don't think it can work. Why would you do it? I mean, someone calls you crazy. Well, I'll do it. You know.
Yeah, and do you know what? For me, one of the tips that I'd give to people if they was doing it, which is the tip I give to my friends when they contemplate university, and there's a point to this. For me, it's if they go, oh, I'm not sure I want to go. I'm not sure I want to go, you know. Well, you know, and I'm like, right, if that's what you're thinking, you are not ready to go to it yet. Like, you know, it's a dedication. That's what it is, you know, and it's the same with doing anything in business. If you're going and ahhing about an idea, you're not ready to do it yet. What we're saying is if your idea is ready to go and you're like, the idea is sat there, I just don't feel like the time to launch it is now. You know it. You're not and ahhing about it. You're just kind of going, I should have launched it last year, so I've got to wait till summer this year. Why? You know, if anything, launch it now. If it don't take off, you massively promote it in summer when you found any loop, you know, bumps, anything else stuck in it. You know, and it's just like,
you do, and I think you do. As you build any business, you find out things that work, and as you keep looking back at it, what's working, what's not working, and you're learning at every step of the journey. You know, with storytellers, it's been a huge steep learning curve. We've never done anything like this before. It's very new. It's very different. But it's been an amazing journey, and you learn. I learn every day, and you go, okay, we'll tweak that, we'll change that. That didn't work. That idea flopped. Okay, let's try something else.
Yeah, and kind of, you know, you read something every morning, don't you, over your cup of coffee?
I do.
And I take it this actually probably will make you think about when you've made these decisions and you've finally gone, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to wait. Why am I holding off? And I suppose looking at this kind of makes you feel empowered to do that, or, you know, it kind of makes you go, I'm glad I did that. So what is it that you do in the morning over a cup of coffee? What is it you look at?
I have, and it's here, I have a life vision. So I have a 3-page with photos. You can't kind of see it. Right. So my life vision. So every morning after I've done my workout, I will sit there with my first cup of coffee to wake me up in the morning. And it's about where my life is going, our lives as a family, what our life wants to be, where we are now, being grateful for what we have now, but also looking to the future and what our life, and describing what our life is going to be like. And that is 3 pages. It's got photos, images in there as well. And it just reminds me, it grounds me for the day before I look at the diary and what I've got planned for the day.
Yeah, and you know, I'm about to start getting into journaling. But when I say a lot of people say journaling, a lot of other people think, what, you write in a diary? And it's like, no, it's not, you know, it's not about that at all. I work with to-do lists for my day, so I work with that separately. But my journal, I want to do every morning, because the one thing I'm I am out the habit of is going on my phone in the morning. The reason I've not been able to do it yet is because naturally the first thing I do is grab it. But now as I grab it, I put it back down. I want to get out of that habit of grabbing it.
Good.
And for me, you know, part of journaling is going to be what I'm grateful for that day. You know, a couple of things I want to do that day for myself, not for my business, for myself. What do I want to do that day for me? Like, I've really got back into baking, and I make bread every week now. I love doing it. Don't get me wrong, I buy a mix and I just add water.
Yeah, I didn't know you were a trained chef. So look at you, and I was saying you were domesticated.
I'm a trained head chef. Not experienced. I'll point it out to anyone watching, not experienced, because I prefer front of house, but I am a trained chef. So it's it comes in handy from time to time. So it really does. But yeah, so it's like journaling, getting back into baking and things, and you know, I really want to get into it. So I've been doing research into journaling, there's a reason, because I want to make sure that I'm getting the most out of it. You know, because I'm like, well, I've never done it before. What am I doing? And I'm looking at what other people do with their journaling, and I'm going, well, I like that. Oh, I won't mind incorporating that. Oh, I won't mind doing that. And it's odd little things, and it's even what friends am I contacting that day. You know, I want to make sure I contact a friend or a family member every day. Every day. To me, that's so important.
Yeah. And people, particularly at the moment, I think reaching out and saying, having that contact, having a day, that's a really lovely aim to do on a daily basis, because people often will not ask for help or support, and you could be the only person they've spoken to that day.
Exactly. Well, Sas, right? We've been talking for half an hour, love, so I'm going to have to wrap up there. But I know everyone can find you on LinkedIn, Facebook, your website at the Storytellers, can't they?
Yeah, they can. Anywhere.
Yeah. But anyway, and remember, everyone, so this is Sas Huntwood. There's a fabulous name in her business name. And remember to be more Sas. Sas, thank you so much for coming on. Don't rush off. I'll have a quick nap with you afterwards. I'll just kick you backstage.
Thanks, Callum.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Oh, Sas Huntwood, everybody. Honestly, like I said, hashtag be more Sas, because that woman is I need to stop saying powerhouse because I overuse it. But, you know, it's just because people are. The people I have in my life, I don't even know Sas. Like, I've never met her. But we got on like a house on fire. And secondly, right, if anyone knows the explanation of that saying, a house on fire, I get on like a house on fire. But, like, don't get it. We'll just say it. Sas is like, do you know the meaning of that, Sas? Give me a wave. No, she doesn't know the meaning of it. So, you have been watching Kwak TV today, which is why watch Kwak TV when you can watch Kwak TV. It's Wednesday. Remember that it is, bear with me before I forget. It is Penguin Day. It is Disc Jockey Day. It is Cheese Lovers Day. And it is Butter Crunch Day. And your hashtags are Wednesday Motivation, Wednesday Thoughts, FFB Wednesday, which stands for Follow Back Wednesday. And FFB one is in particular for Twitter. And tune in tomorrow. We've got Mr. Stephen Harrison, the free from baker. And I can just say that no one in my network actually knows of him. He's a close friend of mine. So for anyone that watches this, tune in tomorrow, 9:30, and we'll find out about some delicious treats and how both of our stories started on a market. Sas is like, story. So yes, me and Stephen, Steve, I've never called him Stephen my whole life. We're competing on markets and in competitions. That's how both started. He's originally from York. Obviously, I'm from Hull. So tune in tomorrow for that wonderful story, because I cannot wait. So have a lovely day. Have a lovely Wednesday. And if you can't be good, be careful. If you can't be careful, don't get caught.